Well, for you, the most important things in your countries may be the amount of money that it has, or maybe the culture, or maybe some aspects that you like in your country. But the biggest treasure of my country is Amazon, the jungle. Uh, Amazon forest is the biggest rainforest in the world, and it has the biggest quantity of water in the world, too, one of the biggest quantity in the world. And to explain to you why Amazon is one of the biggest treasures of Brazil, I divided it in three topics: environmental issues, biodiversity, and indigenous, and why we should stop cutting the trees and why we should protect Amazon. Jungle devastation. Devastation in Amazon is a very old issue. They started cutting the trees many years ago. And what happens when they cut these trees is that Amazon is a very sensitive environment. And when you start cutting trees, this area becomes a desert area, and the water simply disappear. And species in extinction. Amazon is not like some countries that has three mainly species. In Amazon, we have probably more than 50,000 species. So the quantity of each species is not enough to keep the same quantity. If you kill an animal in Amazon, probably you are affecting the whole species. And here is Amazon, and that is what it looks like after they cut the trees. And all this whole area becomes a desert. And here the biodiversity. Amazon is a forest with a big biodiversity, and because of that, there happens the biotraffic. People from other countries comes to Amazon to take plant species and animals because there they have many medicines. They can take many medicines from the trees, and a statistic says that in Amazon you can find the cure for cancer and AIDS and HIV and many other diseases that they didn't found the answers yet or the cure. And hunting Amazon is not legal in any time of the year because, how I said, in Amazon the species are not don't have a big number. So if you kill one, you will affect all the species in general. So that's why it's not legal, and that's why we should stop hunting in Amazon. And more than just animals and biodiversity, Amazon has people that live there and need that space to survive. Indigenous. And to prove to you that there have people, I have a video here.
Jose Carlos Morales is on his way to the remote headwaters of the Anguilla River in Brazil. The dense Amazon forests below are home to one of the last uncontacted tribes left on Earth. Morales works for Brazil's Indian Affairs Department, and his job is to monitor the tribe's lands for signs of invaders.
Primeiro que são povos meio que desconhecidos, né? É difícil convencer até o próprio Estado, né, que eles existem.
But the pressures on these forests are growing, and Morales knows that he has to convince those who doubt the tribes live here at all. For the first time, he's allowed a BBC film crew to travel with him. Powerful zoom lenses will allow them to film from a kilometer away and minimize disturbance.
E não acreditando que eles existem, não vai ter nenhum movimento a favor deles. E uma imagem, às vezes, vale por 1000 relatórios, por 1000 palavras. Está aqui.
Their gardens are full of manioc, their main food. They're also growing bananas and papaya. And there are hundreds of anato trees. The tribe makes bright red body paint from the crushed seeds. Morellis has been monitoring this tribe for 20 years, but he fears their lives are about to change for the worse. Illegal logging across the border in Peru is forcing uncontacted tribes there to flee.
De repente começou a aparecer uns isolados lá que não eram de lá. É óbvio, qual é o único lugar para onde os isolados podem correr? É para fora de cá, não tem para onde mais correr.
But instead of expelling the loggers, Peru's government has suggested that uncontacted tribes don't exist at all.
É a única maneira da gente poder mostrar ao resto da humanidade que esses povos existem. É melhor isso do que ele entrar em contato com um bando de garimpeiro ou com um madeireiro, que vão matá-los na primeira vez que virem, não vão fotografar, vão atirar neles e matar.
And it's not just violence that puts uncontacted people at risk. Viruses, like the common cold, can kill them, and even wipe the tribes out completely.
A minha utopia seria que esses povos tivessem primeira opção de escolha, né? Nós vamos continuar, nós vamos entrar em contato. É a terra, você conseguir o espaço e manter o espaço livre de interferência, qualquer interferência, que é a única forma dos isolados sobreviver, não tem outra forma.
So, indigenous lands. In Brazil, indigenous lands are a big issue now because the Brazilian governments want to cut the forest, but because they say that they don't have any more tribes anymore in Amazon, but actually they have many and many tribes of natural indigenous from Amazon, but the governments want to explore the forest, so that's why they say that doesn't have any people there. But how you saw yes, it has. And here. And they have their own culture. And each tribe is completely different from each one. And when they start cutting the trees, the tribes need to go deep into the forest. And then they start meeting on other tribes. And when they meet on other tribes, they start killing each other because they were natural enemies for thousands and thousands of years. But they don't have any more choice anymore. So the indigenous killed by year is increasing much more than before. And the truth is that when the companies and when farmers find indigenous, they kill them, because if the government knows, and if they tell the government that has indigenous in his lands, he needs to give his lands to the indigenous. So when they found them, they simply kill, and they don't care, as like if we were animals. And this image, I want to finish with this image of many and many indigenous that were killed because of farmers, because of fight between them, because